Hello, everybody. My name is Mikey Prefling, and my paper discussed the polarization of the political parties since the 2016 election. I chose this mainly because I come from a very rural area in California, about an hour east of Stockton. This area is mainly conservative, and when I moved to Stockton for high school, I got into friendships with a lot of people from different walks of life. My eyes were opened a lot, and it made me more empathetic towards a lot of the things that are going on and the things that are getting highlighted so much in today's society. There's a lot of problems that really come with what is going on right now. There's a lot of animosity towards the other party, whether which side you believe in. And I feel like this is something that we need as a country, work out. Um, so the main theme that I really covered in my paper was partisan animosity. And what that is the divergence of political ideologies to an extreme. This is definitely increased as a direct result after these two elections. We've seen it firsthand through social media, whether it be people lashing out at certain stars for their belief or their support of Trump or Biden. We've seen it in news coverage when people just continuously push the button on separating and dividing our country. I feel like cancel culture itself has also played a little role in it. Something that I thought was funny about cancel culture, however, is that every time I've seen it portrayed, it's really trying to blame the left when people on the right have also been guilty of this. An example of that is Goodyear Tires not letting their employees wear MAGA hats, and then Trump telling them or telling everybody not to support Goodyear Tires. Everybody, as Trump would call them, they're probably a snowflake. So I think it's funny that the left mocks the right and the right mocks the left. And something that plays a really big role in this that I got from the American Journal of Political Science is that stereotypes actually play a bigger role in this than just the hate of somebody for different ideologies. So, stereotypes, people know left and right. The left will say that the right might be religious freaks. The right might say that the left wants free stuff. Um, I feel like these types of things can really lead to people like lashing out at each other and just creating this animosity towards each other that is not healthy at all. Sometimes you'll see it also in cancel culture where it goes to another level over not just social media, but things can get threatening towards that person. People have showed up to people's houses, people showed up to their place of work, all kinds of things like trying to humiliate them or get them to move out. And I feel like there's better ways to go about these things. And I feel like this year, especially since we were all in quarantine, we didn't have anything to do. And once the spark of the George Floyd protest happened, there were so many things that came to light in this country that I feel needed to come to light. Um, Black Lives Matter came out, and they were tired of standing idly by while we see another male get murdered at the hands of police violence. This is something that's been going on for a long time, and we've kind of just brushed under the rug, and that is wrong. And I feel the fact that saying that Black Lives Matter can be met with not only like threatening words, but actions and counter protests and the things that we have all seen. It just doesn't make any sense to me that we have this huge divide over such a simple human right idea. But I feel like this not only affects really big cities, but it also affects the small towns. Small towns are going to be a little bit more conservative, and they're gonna have a little bit more contempt towards accepting new ways of believing because they're probably stuck in their own ways of believing. I've seen it firsthand with my whole family. I mean, it's been an interesting 4 years between our relationship with my father and I due to differences in ideology. Something that I think is hilarious that I will also touch on later is that they'll dismiss everything as fake news. It doesn't make sense because we can't have a logical discussion about anything. And but my analysis in the paper really was about a four horsemen model that we discussed, and I made a model for both liberal and Republican. For the liberal, so the four horsemen: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. The criticism for liberals will probably be the lack of care for human rights from the right. Their contempt is towards Donald Trump. The defensiveness, which the right will call the victim mentality or like blame game, whatever, is kind of that the right doesn't acknowledge the basic human rights that systemically are held against these people of color or the people that are not as well off as middle class people. Stonewalling, I believe, for both sides would be biased news coverage. And then onto the Republican four horsemen, the criticism is kind of that liberals want equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity. Content, that's firsthand what I've heard, at least. For those of you who don't understand that, that is saying that Republicans think that liberals just want free stuff instead of having to work for it, right? So Republicans' contempt for that would be saying they want communism here. The defensiveness, which comes along with communism, would be the Republicans thinking that their first and second rights are going to be infringed upon. There's been no legislature anywhere that has been passed to infringe on any of these rights. So, stonewalling again, I said biased news coverage, really the fake news portion of that. But how do we get on to fix this? I think that it really starts at home. Some people disown family members. I linked 2 articles in my paper about people that are disowning family members due to them voting for Donald Trump. I think that that is kind of a childish way to go about it, and I think that there are better ways to kind of try and talk it out. But obviously, for some situations, it can be threatening to bring these up. So if it's non-threatening, I believe it's important to actually discuss with your family members your differences instead of trying to disown them. In a week 8 PowerPoint, we covered emotional suppression. That was also a really big thing that I think also sparked the George Floyd protests, was that we, as a nation, we just bottled these things up, and then eventually we have to blow. And this happens not only in the form of these protests, but also at home. And I've seen holidays get ruined over it. I've seen a couple arguments with family members that I haven't seen these family members since. There's things that we can do as a society to really try and make this better, and I think that it all starts at home. Anyways, thank you for listening to my presentation. Have a good day.